are listening to the Atheist Antidote Show. And now, your host, Brock Lawley.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brock Lawley. I'm the Atheist Antidote on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. Feel free to wander and explore. I do not think you will regret it. Today, I'd like to talk about the state of emergency that is women. Single women, 2013. One cannot help but cry crocodile tears of pity and mercy for them. And I had a really interesting conversation with my father. Side note, my dad came out to visit me here in the Midwest. I'm an East Coast boy, and it was a nice time. We actually built a chicken coop. Now, don't misunderstand me. That is not really reflective of me in the sense that I'm no carpenter, I'm no farmer. But, you know, I'm like a stage 2 doomsday prepper. You know, let's say there's a scale of 0 to 10. I'd put myself on like a 2. I'd like to be a 6, but I'm on like a 2. By the way, before you start laughing, I don't know what newspapers you're reading. I don't know what news broadcasts you're watching. But you might want to consider being a stage 2 doomsday prepper as well. But that's neither here nor there. So I'm building a chicken coop with my father. And as, you know, hayseed hickish as that might sound, actually quite a delightful experience. You know, I'm getting a little older. My father's getting a little older. I realize how painfully inept I am as a carpenter, which is nothing but my own fault because my father was a skilled craftsman, and he more than willing was he to teach me. I was just one of those teenagers that would have rather been shooting basketball than building a house, and boy, do I lament that decision at this point in my life. But that's neither here nor there. So my father and I are having this conversation, and this is on the heels of several other conversations I've had with people spanning the seasons of life, be it young, old, about to die, and it's an interesting sort of hodgepodge of conversations I've had in this regard over the year, and it's the state of women. It's what a bad situation we have ourselves in by way of gender relations and by way of women meeting men suitable to marry, but more than that, and depressingly so, just willing to marry. And my dad's telling me that he has all these coworkers, middle-aged women mainly, but, you know, again, span the age pendulum, and they're all complaining, there's no good men out there, they're all lazy, they just want to play video games. I'm talking about 40, 50-year-olds, nobody wants to work, and those are the ones that are the good ones. So, it's got me thinking, you know, I think this is a bit of like a pandemic, social and relational pandemic, a big, huge outbreak of just horrible, useless boy men. And doesn't it beg the question, why is that the case? And how can you not feel bad for these women who, you know, of course what they want to do is get married, have children, and if they've already had, you know, a previous husband and children, they just want to find companionship. And I'm not completely letting women off the hook. I think a lot of their behavior in society, and a lot of, not specific women, I'm talking about women as like the collective that influence our society. You know, they have pushed for this gender gray area, and they do want the cake and eat it too. I mean, they definitely do. And you know, if you're going to shoot straight, you got to call them out on that. But see, a lot of that is imposed on them by culture. You know, I think of a lot of the women that I went to college with and how they find themselves in this desperate point of discontentment in their life now because, you know, let's say that they have had careers that are fulfilling, which, by the way, the economy sort of dashed that hope too. So now they're left with nothing. They have no career because of Obama's economy. And they have no man because they didn't prioritize that because the feminazis and the bra burners told them not to, that would be some sort of a weak attitude towards life. So now they're stuck in their 30s. They got no man. They got no children. They're floating around and frequenting these bars with these, like, intoxicated guys that want to go home and play, Call of Duty or whatever for 18 straight hours on an unemployment check from Uncle Sam. And they get away with that because that's the crop. That's the crop of men. So you either deal with it or you don't. It's just a depressing thing, and I keep hearing this from all these different people. And once again, my dad reiterated this thought. You know, it's like having these conversations with these women at work, and they're just all complaining about the same thing. And then, you think about it from a young woman's perspective. You know, the situation is dire. You know, you got young men are saturated in pornography. For all the woman's rights and for all the glass ceiling breaking, I don't think you've ever had a point in history where women were treated with this degree of disrespect and lack of reverence. I mean, I don't think you can find a point in history. You know, you can find pockets in history where women were very unsafe and, dark ages maybe, and you think of these different things. But I'm talking about Western society in America. You know, you're going to have like the leftist and the feminist professor that doesn't shave her armpits. She's going to be like, well, we didn't have the right to vote, and we didn't have this, and we didn't have that, and all that's true. I'm not pushing back on that. I personally don't think that was right. But think about a woman's life in its holistic sense, from cradle to grave. Not just burning bras in the 60s, but the whole thing, rearing children, all the desires that we all know that women have. And think about, the point of this podcast is think about what brought this in to present day. What smuggled in these problems? You can cure an ailment only to turn around and, set the whole immune system ablaze. And I think you can make a case that that's what we've done in our society. We've been so obsessed with tearing down all gender distinction, mainly in the workplace, but other places, that we forgot about the fallout, the consequences. Actions have reactions, and I would argue that you've completely the significance of a man in our society has dwindled. What women need him for has dwindled. The expectations upon him have severely dropped. And this is what you get. This is what you get. And, it's hard. I can tell you that this is a problem, even in my own micro life, because I'm making a point to surround myself with good men. And I do that because I know that's the only way I can be a good man. Because those are the men influencing me. Those are the men edifying me. Those are the men challenging me and pushing me and refining me. And I'll tell you, it's hard to find them. It is hard to find them. And so, it's not quite as important for me to find them as it is for some woman who wants to marry the man. I'm just looking to throw back a beer and light up a cigar and have a conversation about life and sort of recalibrate my bearings by way of a moral, godly man. These women are trying to find a spouse, a life partner, and it's like looking for a unicorn. And, it's very, very important to ask yourself, why is that? Because, of course, this conversation does not happen in the media. It does not happen, in the films and television that you watch. They do not confront this, societal problem. But ask yourself, follow those breadcrumbs back, and ask yourself, I'm just going to let your mind do the walking, your mind do the talking. Just ask yourself, if you agree with me that this is a problem, why is it a problem? Thank you for listening. I'm going to leave you with a song that was written and recorded by yours truly. Thank you.
We're a generation watching the world for too long, drowned in lies. We come before you, an army gathered to love, prepared to live and never die. Don't deny it, just let it in. You can't defeat it, 'cause it's gonna win. tried to tell you time again that we're nothing like you, and we've never been hurt at all, and we know just what you'll say. And now we have come to save the day. It's a contradiction when they tell you there's nothing true, then they demand it's only their way. Join a celebration, whitewashing away graffiti from the walls of yesterday. Don't deny it, it's gone away. Can't defeat it, the new begins. Tried to tell you time again that we're nothing like you, and we've never been hurt at all, and we know just what you say. The time has come to save the day. Here's an invitation to live beyond our lives and leave this world a better place. Our salvation, it's bigger than you and I. Second birth, a savior.